Welcome, Michael Wickerson here. Obviously in Rhino 7, since you can see I'm going to be looking into the surface subdivision tab. And we've flown pretty quickly through the surfaces because I think we've done a really good job in focusing on the math sets and vectors and what they actually do. So I'm so thrilled when I see components coming out, that more complex components for solids and surfaces, when I really want to start driving computational thinkers and modelers towards points, planes, and curves at best. But let's take a look at the subdivision tool because it takes curves and just does wonders with them. So I'm going to do-si-do back out of here, shaded, and I will put it so we're only viewing what we're looking at. And new to Rhino 7, very interesting substitutions for pipe and variable pipe nodes. If you were a sucker for the variable pipe like I was, I think you'd really enjoy this. So what I've done is I've grabbed a square grid, and this is the type of exercise I think an intermediate level Grasshopper person starts thinking like. Using split tree, gathering that data, selecting exactly what you want, leaving off the branch 0 and branch 4, and leaving off the item 0 and items 4, and then nulling out those items that have gone to negative. Keep in mind I'm going to use that data later on to merge back in, but I wanted to do a little more control on that I basically wanted to be able to take these cells, generate these cells, and generate these cells. And in doing so, with a little bit of masking and a little bit of data tree manipulation geometrically, what a wonderful 101 section to figure that out. I've got a little bit of a move tool. I've hard-coded things in here. You can change the domains if you like, and basically lofting these, finding my naked edges if I want, taking those curves and pushing them through a multi-pipe node here. And I'm not sure why I have multi-pipe twice and why I didn't get rid of this one. Let's go back into there. Multi-pipe node, playing around with a few of the options, this one being the curve list, this one being the node size, and then I've left this one off as a default or empty parameter as point sizes. I am able to end offset and have a parameter that runs, I think, from 0 to 1, or at least I chose to have that, and I defaulted to 1. Strut size I've played with. I've ignored the segments, and I've left on the kink angle value at 1, and I've left on the cube fit at 1. And that's the node that really is a pretty complex, beautiful, concise algorithm for building out some pretty nice geometries. Now, mesh from subdivision is nice because you can pull a mesh from that, and then you can take the subdivision and put it back in a mesh. So very nice tool if you're going to start dealing in meshes as well. And you can interpolate through, and you can do what you do with the regular subdivision to mesh node. I also went in here and I wanted to be able to subdivision control polygon, generate that, which is pretty sweet if you want to start having access to these types of geometries. Let me go into render and show you, well, maybe not render, let me go into something like artistic and start seeing what's happening there. And then I also have a subdivision edges, which allows me to have access to all of those. Grabbing those curves, grabbing those edges, and text tag is kind of nice that I can start indicating what's going on here. What I also did was I just scaled things a little smaller, played off of the scale that was relative to the centroid center, and the factor I haven't really played in. I think it's a default to 0.5. So you can throw in a little number slider here if you want 1.00. You just want to scale to 0. Let's just take it so we can play around a little bit with that factor. There we go. And run that through, all the way through to tiny, to back up to its 1 size. And then there's the subdivision fuse, which is nice. It takes multiple subdivisions and brings them back together. So there's a demo online from Rhino 3D that will do that all for you, but I thought it was nice to show how simple control of masks and geometry and a little bit of Z move manipulation through ranges can really generate a nice form. I'm going to go back and grab this final form. I'm going to throw it onto a bake. Throw it onto a bake. And that'll just take a second. I'll leave this. There's our form. And I'll pop it back into a rendered mode and throw on, well, they're all separate, so I'll just throw on a little bit of an analysis. I'm not sure what the curve analysis. I always am surprised by the curve analysis. Pop that on there and see what we end up getting. Is it taking Not really getting much from that. I'm going to go back and just pop on the, I think I have jammed it up a little bit with that. Let me get rid of that and just do an analysis tool for, oh, I should think a little too much. Grab these forms and go into Analyze, Surface, and do an Environment Map. There we go. Something a little that we know the mirroring image is going to work. So nice little exercise. Get yourself into Subdivision. Play with that and see what Rhino 7 has to offer, and you can start building some pretty awesome geometries. Once again, with a little bit of mass control and split tree and understanding of how to manipulate trees in Rhino.